There we go. Y'all know this game is so good. Hey everybody, this is Rob Shack. So I'm going to be giving a review of Samurai Warriors 1. So let's get right into it. I took a bunch of notes and I wanted to see how I did here with all my notes because I took a whole bunch of notes and I'll just go through it. So yeah, that opening cutscene is just so just defining, you know? Like you just look at that cutscene, you know exactly what's going on. You see just amazing graphics, amazing. Like you even see the story between Yukimura and Kunoichi without them having to say any words. It's just freaking awesome. Oh man, so good. So yeah, so I started with. I'll start with my first point. It's replayability. This game is extremely replayable because there's so much that you can do to get 100% completion in this game. Starting with just getting the weapons, getting the people's level 5 weapons, which I'll go into more later, developing people's skills in the character trees, unlocking all the cutscenes and the endings. So I haven't beaten this game yet. Again, I'm playing through it again, so I'm doing a review midway through to show that I've played a lot of it recently. So there's a million endings or ending two. And then this is the point that I really wanted to make was these missions. This is something that was never done again. I don't think. If it was done again in another Samurai Warriors game, let me know. But I played Samurai Warriors 1, Extreme Legends, 2, Extreme Legends, and Empires. And 2 doesn't do this. And I don't know why 2 doesn't do this. There's different missions for every character, and on every level, there's multiple ways the level can play out. Samurai Warriors 2 did not do this, and I remember that, and I thought that was so weird, and that was such a step backwards for the series. And I don't think they ever really did anything like this again. But again, please let me know if they do, if they fixed that in later Samurai Warriors games. But I honestly quit the series after 2 because I couldn't believe how much they took away between 1 and 2. The fact that you can go through every mission and there's failures of major missions, and when you fail that mission, other stuff pops up. The whole level can change. It's amazing. That alone is a reason to replay this game a million times. And yeah, there's a bunch of different items, and I haven't unlocked those yet. But my first point is for sure the replayability of this game because you can go through every single character, you can play through each level multiple times, and you can get a totally different everything. You can get different dialogue, different missions, different everything. It's insane. Oh my gosh, I just don't know why they took that away in later games. But yeah, you can do so much with that. And then another thing that's really cool about this game in terms of replayability is you can do these like, which I don't do these a lot, but you can do these challenge modes where you do the challenging modes to do when you're trying to create a new character. You can basically do all these things, which is pretty fun. I've actually done a few of them. Kunoichi's is the easiest on Muso. You can just stand there and just like mow down everybody with Muso, which is pretty fun. Like, shouldn't she want to vomit at this? And then you can do these versus mode things where you can play as a character against an AI. This is huge at this point. When this game was made in '04, you could not do anything like this. You can play a versus mode, and you don't need another person. You can just play against the AI on this level. So like you can see there, I'm Yukimura, top, and then Hanzo is that giant red dot moving around down there. But I can literally fight Hanzo and beat him up. He respawns, and then we keep fighting, just like if it was another person. That's huge. And then the next thing with this is all under replayability. This is all point one. So with replayability, this right here, this is something that's awesome. Branching storylines, not a very common thing in games up until this point. Now they do it more often, but this was a big deal. There's a mission that happens, and it's a make or break moment. If you pass it, you get generally get the upper tier, and if you fail it, you generally get the lower tier. The exception, of course, is Yukimura's level, but Yukimura's is a really cool design where you actually to beat the game with Shingen before you even can see his mission here. But that's tale for another time. But it's just cool because generally you have these options where you can play through the game, unlock certain characters by beating certain. As you play through the game, you progress, you get more stories. But like everybody has this branching story idea, which is such a cool concept. Like you get this crazy extra graphically enhanced ending if you do the right way. Then you get like the kind of lesser quality but still good graphics, game graphics of the lower tier ending. But you get like every character has these endings. The only exception is Magoichi, but Magoichi's ending is just here on the skirmish at Kyoto if you do it wrong, and then he gets the Azuchi infiltration if you do it right. So everybody has their own branching tier, which is amazing. And I don't know why this hadn't been done before, but it's such a good idea. And I think Samurai Warriors 1 does this extremely well. And yeah, so that kind of connects to my next point, which is just the levels in this game as a whole. When you start a level up, which I'll do in a second, and I'll pick one like Masamune's because Masamune is cool. So like you start a game with Masamune, for example. We'll take Masamune as an example because his is awesome. So you're playing as Kawana Kajima. You know if you've played through this game with anybody else, it's a Shingen versus Kenshin battle. But then you go into it as Masamune and you're like, hey, Kawana Kajima. Okay, I recognize that name. And then you load it up and you're like, this is different. They're still here. The Takeda are still fighting the Uesugi, but I'm here. Why am I here? And then it kind of ties into Masamune's whole thing, which is I want to be the best, like no one ever was, and just beat everybody and everything. And then you just get this opportunity to like totally just feed on their battle, which is so freaking funny. And then this is what ties in well to other versions of this point, which is the missions themselves are just so amazing. Yes, there's the replayability of being able to fail and pass missions, but also there's just this stuff right here. You have options in the middle of a game. You can take two paths so clearly. So if I defeat this general over here, which I'll do really quickly because I'm freaking jacked at this point, but you defeat one general, it changes the entire game. Like you choose to fight the Takeda or the Uesugi first. You could do that, and it's like you just have these options. Like, hey, which way do you want to take this entire battle? How do you want to spend your day with this level? Do you want to do it where you take the Takeda out first? Do you want to take out the Uesugi first? Or do you want to do like these weird alternate versions, which is awesome because they even planned for you just standing at the beginning, doing nothing for the whole intro of the level, letting Yukimura get all the way over to the other side, and you get a secret mission with Yukimura. Check out my video on that. It's pretty awesome. It's really cool though. Like I just attacked Takeda. You get the Date's attacking the Takeda army fail for the Uesugi one. Boom, and then Uesugi it goes this way. Seamless. It's amazing how you can do this. There's so much that you can do in this game just with the missions, literally just with the missions. You can fail missions, get secret dialogue that like barely is seen. It's amazing. It's so freaking good. Let's see. I can't read my handwriting here. Let me see what the next point is. You can't read that. Yeah. So if you saw, I don't know, if that stuff is in Samurai Warriors 2, the missions. I mean, if they fix that, please let me know because I don't see it. Much better video, kind of just showing. Yeah, I'll name him. This. Whatever. We'll just do that. Sure. There you go. That's his name. So this is my next point. is, I did say the unique levels, I already talked about that. Cutscenes are beautiful. The graphics are pretty good for an '04 game. Like when you look at like in the middle of combat, cutscenes are pretty, the gameplay is pretty good. It's not terrible. The voice acting is really good, surprisingly good, which is just awesome. I think that's like a very unique, it's a very unique idea. The fact that you can like have such solid voice acting in a game that's like actually pretty old. And voice acting wasn't even that implemented at this point. Like that was kind of a relatively new thing. So I'm like, they did a really good job with this game just with their voice acting. Like the cutscenes are like emotional because the voice acting's so freaking good. There's just a lot going on. It's really, really well done. I'm gonna spend the next few minutes talking about why I started this because I like this part a lot. The freaking creative character is so good. All the Dynasty Warriors games, I don't understand why they don't do anything like this. This is such a good idea. The creative character being like this, you kind of get used to your character. You get like you get I don't know how to explain it. It's just like it's fun. You start to get attached to your character. You like go through trials, which I'll show as I keep doing this because it's freaking awesome. You have trials and you have like a year essentially, and you have basically 12 like opportunities to choose to train your character in some way, which is amazing because then you're basically becoming a samurai. Your goal with the creative class is not just to like pick a warrior like in Dynasty Warriors. When you do creative class in Dynasty Warriors, it's nothing like this. You literally just spawn as the character and then it's over. But with Samurai Warriors, they did this thing. They like actually, you actually have like an incentive to kind of try to like make your character unique to you, which I think is just such a good idea. I don't know why they didn't do this more, but they did it. All right, I'll try to. That's close. Um, so like, there you go. Ended the exercise. So I have one session, I guess, is down. So then you go, all right, cool. I have one down. What's next? And you have more. I looked originally. You look at it and say, okay, it's just melee and what was the other one? First, and then you're like, okay, cool. Now I have two more. And you can keep going. You can choose to rest. You can do all this stuff. There's like little dialogue trees with all these other characters, like that weird Sky Ninja who just spoke to me. I don't even know who he is, but I'm like, hey, cool. Like I'm in this dojo and I'm training with this master guy who kind of looks weird, but whatever. I mean, it's like you just get to like have fun with this game, and you get to have fun playing as like a character that you created, and you get to like actually like establish their stats, which is cool. Like that's not what Samurai Warriors does, and I don't know why Koei doesn't implement this stuff more because it would go so well if they did this. If they just allowed for there to be, oh, ouch, there was more of this in other games, like it would just be it'd be so well done. And so I'm just gonna spend the rest of the time probably playing through this because it's so much fun. But I'll go towards my other stuff with this game in a second. As soon as I stop getting just annihilated by these people, because I mean another thing, the difficulty gets harder when you play this game. The hard difficulty in this game is like actually hard. The AI are improved. You know how in Dynasty Warriors games you have the whole like if it's on hard, all that happens is if you get hit once, you die, and nothing else is really any different. That to me is kind of annoying. Because I'm like, well, that's not really that much harder. Like, how is that any different? And it's really not, and that's what's kind of a bummer is there are points where you are in these positions where you kind of have to like decide if I want like basically the games are not grind it's not worth it. I don't know. If you have to play it perfectly, what's the fun in that? If the AI doesn't do anything different, but all that happens is they can one shot you, it's not that fun. That's not really a challenge. That's just kind of like annoying. And so I'm like, I don't really know why they did that. But with this game, they like really improved the AI. They block more on hard. They Russo more on hard. The privates like do better attacks. It's ridiculous. It's so much fun that way they do that. They like planned this game so well. And I think I just get a little bit sad when I see the quality kind of drop in later games. It's like they knew that because they knew Samurai Warriors was so good. I mean, it's such a good game. It's aged so well. It's just so obvious how good of a game it is. But then it's frustrating that they kind of took away a lot of stuff later in the series. And the same thing happens with Dynasty Warriors. Like I look at Dynasty Warriors games and I'm like, these games have the potential to be so good, and they just kind of oh shoot, I almost just died there. Wow, these archers are like kind of screwed in the face. This is painful. But there we go. Hit a few of them. Ow. Just took so much damage. But see, this is the thing. Yeah, you take more damage. That's true. And that's fine. It doesn't really make that much of a difference if it's like harder that way. But what's good is see that the archers were shooting way faster. Like there wasn't that many left there, and they were shooting me constantly. I was getting hit constantly, and ow. It's just a great. What is happening? That was weird. That dude fell in slow motion. Did y'all see that? Oh, well, I died, but that's okay because again, you don't lose when you're playing in this game. I, I just love the creator class in this game. That's probably my favorite thing about this game is the fact that creator class is so innovative and so freaking unique. See, now I'm hurt, so now I'll go into combo. I'm hurt, so I'll have the ability to have my full Muso, which is going to help with my combos. So this game, the creator class is just so good. Create a character, whatever, and then you'll see this when I get to the end of it, because I'll just do this whole thing while we're here. But you get to choose a clan. That is just so interesting. But now that's going to actually segue me really well into kind of the negatives. I don't want to only say the positives in this game. There are some negative things too. One of them being it's almost like they came up with ideas and they just didn't quite have the time to finish them. And I kind of wish they had. If they had finished that, it would have been this would have been perfect. But like, so what ends up happening with this game is when you're once you finish joining a class, you join a clan and it's cool. You get like they like accept you into the group or whatever, and it's all like exciting. The missions for the created class character is the exact same every time. And granted, that in itself is crazy. In other games, in Dynasty Warriors games, Samurai Warriors games, I don't see them ever doing anything like that. And I wish they did because that's so unique to create a character and have it have its own Muso mode. It has its own story, completely unrelated to everybody else's. They travel the land trying to figure out who they are. Really awesome levels too. But then what's so weird is you can join the Oda clan, you can join the Iwagawa clan, the Tokugawa clan, doesn't really matter, but it doesn't change anything. It would be the one thing I would have asked them to do with this game was just make it so that when you play through and you choose a certain clan, you actually get unique missions with that clan. That would be pretty unique. If they didn't do that, and that's fine. Like this game is so freaking good anyway. That's it. That's not that big of a deal. You know, it's really not. And then the only other negative thing I can even kind of remotely say is um, the fifth weapon, to unlock the fifth weapons for some of these characters is like absolutely impossible. Like I was just trying to do Mitsuhide's today. It's like freaking impossible. Like I don't know what they're expecting because it's like they're just so challenging to do. Like you have to do this stuff perfectly. And that's just like it's so crazy. But yeah, so that's like my only sort of negative thing about this. And um and this is a slight, again, slight gripe with this game, but it's really not that big of a deal because it's not that bad. One thing that's kind of a bummer is certain moves to me are just not that good. So like I showed y'all this. I picked Masamune on purpose at the beginning of this mission, at the beginning of this video, because Masamune's Muso. I did it in the thing. He just shoots a bunch of random. They're randomly generating and they fly all over the map in different areas. That's his Muso. That's also one of his charge attacks. So you're just like, okay, it's kind of difficult to like be good with this character because like, what's he gonna do? He can barely hit anybody with those attacks, you know? And that's one of those things where I'm like, it's that bad, but it's pretty funny to think about. Like, you kind of can't do certain attacks and they're good. Like certain, like, and I mean, you can tell that they were just, again, they were just figuring out this whole game at that point. Because I mean, I would, if I were them, I wouldn't have picked certain attacks to be so, but to look so state. Like, why was Masamune like? Why was that attack in so many of his attacks? Like, it wasn't very good. So, like, I'm confused by why they did that. You know? And again, like, I'm not. That's such a minor gripe, but I just want to be balanced with these games when I talk about them. You know? Ouch. But yeah, I think that's just kind of like one of my biggest gripes is because I think it would be pretty easy to make certain attacks just a little bit better. But yeah, so I think those are my main, those are honestly my main frustrations with the game, and they're really not that bad. But it's just like certain moves are just not as good, and that's pretty much it, you know? I don't know. So keep trying to work on my combos here. I accidentally got health, which kind of ruins combo. Honestly, it does. If you pick up health, it kind of ruins it because then you can't really do anything anymore. Don't even remember when I picked it up, but I did. This guy. Oh, I missed him. But it's just the game itself to me is basically the perfect launch title of any sort of game out there. I'm blown away by how good this game is. I'm blown away by what you can do in this game. You can do so many things. You can play through the game with so many different characters, and they're all unique enough that I'm like, it's just crazy how good this game is. The fact that you can replay levels, you can play as different characters, even similar characters on the same faction are very, very different, which I think is so crazy. So like you'll play through the Battle of Kawanakajima like a million times because so many people are on that battle. You go, okay, how can they possibly make that any different? And you see when you do the level. If you play through it as Kunoichi, you get a lot of ninja themes with Kunoichi. You do a lot of the same levels as Yukimura, but you play as a ninja, so you're jumping over walls, secretly sneaking into buildings, going into places like that. You do stuff like that. You do stuff that only Kunoichi can do. But you're still on the level with Yukimura. You're still trying to save, like, whoever you're trying to protect. You're still trying to do what you're trying to do. But it's just, you're playing through as Kunoichi now. You know, you play through as Hanzo, same idea. You play through as Goemon, you play Goemon Ishikawa plays at the same levels as Okuni, and they're very, very different. Magoichi, they're all different. Like, you'll play through as Keiji, and you think, okay, Keiji's generally, when you play through as Yukimura, you always are fighting Keiji. Like Keiji is always on the levels with Yukimura. He's always fighting Yukimura when you play as Yukimura. But then when you play as Keiji, you get this like side story that he also did in his life. Maybe he went to the capital and he kind of was causing some trouble there because he was kind of like it was like pre-Oda stuff, you know. So it's like you see like an alternate side of what Keiji's like when you play as Keiji. But then when you play as Yukimura, it's like, okay, he's just Keiji's always there, but he's not always there. You don't realize that stuff until you like, okay, I'm getting nailed here. But that type of stuff is just so well done to me. I think that they did that perfectly. Like they told every character's story really really well, and so you witness such differing story arcs, and it's so weird how it's like characters that are all on the same side can get such unique stuff. They can get such unique dialogue trees and like different ending cutscenes. Like Kenshin ends up recruiting um, Keiji. Kenshin recruits Keiji. So then when you play through as Yukimura, you never see that. You only see Keiji attack at Nagashino and all these places. You see Keiji fight in certain places, and then you go into it and you're like, okay, this is crazy. Now I'm in this position where I'm seeing all this. I don't know how to explain it. It's just I think it's so unique. I think it's such a unique game the way they did it, and they really like they didn't have to. You know, they did not have to do that, and they still chose to. Crap. So they're out of swords, or they're out of spears. So I'll pick a sword. Um, and that's just, it's just well done. It's just a well done game, and I mean, visuals are great. Everything. I just think it's so unique, and I'm so surprised. Like I look at videos of Samurai Warriors 3, I look at videos of Samurai Warriors 4, and I played 2 a ton. I played so much 2, and 2 is good, except for like it just felt like they really dumbed it down for people, and I don't really know what their intention was with doing that. Oh wow, I just got annihilated. All right, that's fine. Um, they just removed like the replayability. They removed the kind of the RPG type elements. Like it wasn't a full RPG. This game isn't a full RPG. Like you look around and you're like, okay, it's not. It's not that I'm like totally grinding and doing all this stuff just the way I want to. And it's not that I'm like grinding for hours and hours and hours. It's like all you do is you just replay the same level, maybe twice, at most 3 times, just to get the cool dialogues. And that's not even bad 'cause it's fun. It's so obvious. Like they reward you for it because you look in the missions and it's like completed 100%. You're like, okay, cool. That's nice. Thanks for the support, you know? That type of stuff is just what makes it so good. Gosh, I'm dying a lot. This is bad. Not doing well, but it's fine. It's still fun and it's hilarious because I'm losing a bunch. But um, I'm not doing very well. But apparently I need sleep. Well, that's fine. We'll just kind of. I've never actually seen this. See, I've never actually seen this. I've never seen these little whatever they're talking about. So apparently my character is super delirious and dehydrated and everything. So I named him a random character. So it's not really. I'm not attached to this character, but I am because that's the whole point of playing this. So it's mainly for the example of this game right now that I'm doing this. But try to roll out of this crap. There we go. I wanted to actually try to not kill my character. So one, two, there. Take this one, knock him up. Muso before that freaking firebomb hits me because I don't want to die again. Yeah, I got distracted because this game is so freaking good. I don't remember what I was saying. Anyway, I think I'll just kind of let y'all watch the rest of this because it's so fun. I don't know. It's just an amazing game. Very well done. Koei did a great job at the launch, and I think I'm just a little bummed that it seems like the games took a downgrade in the later years. I wish they didn't. They didn't have to, but I feel like they made them this way. So if you like other games in the series, please let me know what you like. 'Cause I want to know. I want to know why they did what they did, and if you think it's better the way it is, like let me know. 'Cause I do want to know. I do think it's really interesting to watch how they made these games. Um, there's just so much replayability to one, and when I played through Samurai Warriors 2, the main things I got out of it were that just you get a lot of there's a lot of really good like characters. They added new characters, they added new people, but then this is a thing I was gonna kind of talk about later in another video probably, but I'll hint at it now. When I played through Samurai Warriors 2, like I got super attached to the way that all the characters were being created. So like Yukimura was Shingen's protege. That was like what he did. And so I thought that was cool. Like I liked that that was where he was. It made sense. It flowed well. He was the main he was the main character under Shingen, but Shingen like calls out and respects all of his generals. Like he very clearly is like a good like person for his troops. He does a really good job of loving his people. And so you're like, okay, cool. And then in the later games, I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die. The freaking strike ninja's gonna come out of nowhere and kill me. But there it is. But like, I played through Samurai Warriors 2 like all the way. I beat it with every character, and a thing that I did not like was that Sako and Shima. I liked Sako and Shima, but Sako and Shima came into the game and was essentially Yukimura. Yukimura was moved to a totally different storyline that didn't really go as well to me, and like partially because of my bias, because I liked the way that Yukimura was under Shingen, but also because it's like you spend all this time delving into making Yukimura a protege to Shingen, and that was like that looked good and that was going well in the game. Like the way that they described that went really well. So you go, okay, cool. Like I like the way that that is, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, never mind. It's actually Sako and Shima is Shingen's protege now. You're just like, wait, what? Like, why? Why is Sakon the character now? Like, that doesn't really make any sense. But it's like, it's what they did. And that's like, I mean, I'm okay with that. But I didn't understand what they did with that. And then, like, they changed, like, I did like that they added Musashi and Kojiro. That was awesome. I loved those two characters. And, like, that rivalry is really good. But then, like, Kenshin and Shingen barely fight. And I'm like, wait, but this game right here, Samurai Warriors 1, I feel like the main contenders are, like the main battles that you see are Kawana Kajima and Honoji. So it's Kenshin versus Shingen, and then it's Nobunaga versus Mitsuhide. And like those are just by far the most important battles in this game. And then I remembered watching, and I played Samurai Warriors 2, and like Shingen and Kenshin's battles are like they're barely a thing in that game. It's like they focused on other stories, but they could have just flushed out Kenshin and Shingen. They didn't really flesh that out in this game, but they chose to just like hate. I mean, it's their opinion. I don't want to like get mad at them for that, but I am just kind of like, well, you just had these opportunities to make the game even more in depth. Like it seems like what I think about when I look at the way Samurai Warriors 1 is, it's like I view it as like they had so much story that they ran out of time, and so they just finished the product the way it was, and it was good, and that's it. And like, I think that's fine. But then what was so weird was with Samurai Warriors 2, they reworked, and this is another thing, and I'm sorry to turn this into kind of what I was wanting to make later, but I'll do it, it's fine. I got a little frustrated with Samurai Warriors 2 because in Samurai Warriors 2, certain move sets were not there. Like they changed a lot of the move sets from Samurai Warriors 1. Because the thing that and I actually had not said this yet in this video, which I meant to, I love the gameplay in this game. I love the way that every tree develops when you play through this game. Every single tree gets better. There's reason to play through the game with every character. Ouch. I was like, I'm gonna die, and I did. I could tell it's coming. But in Samurai Warriors 1, every single time you get a new weapon, like in Dynasty Warriors, you get a better version of every weapon. You level up the weapon, and it gets better. And like, basically an expansion. Oh, check this out, y'all. Okay, so this is another reason why I love this game. I forgot about this. When you play through the game when you're doing a creative class, you can actually end up running into Keiji or Goemon or like Magoichi. I forgot about this. You can run into these characters in the dojo and then you end up fighting them. So that's what I'm going to do now. But what's weird is I picked the spear and now I'm holding a different weapon, which is kind of weird, but fortunately I'm hurt, so I can just kind of weaken Keiji this way. But like in Dynasty Warriors, the tree for growing your character's moveset is pretty limited. Like in 3, 4, and 5, which are by far my favorite games, and I plan on reviewing all of them. They're amazing games. I'm not actually downplaying how awesome Dynasty Warriors is. Dynasty Warriors are like the best games ever. But it just seems like they could have expanded on the trees more, and then they tried it a little bit in later games, but they still were making it really simplified, which I just didn't understand why they did that. But like in Dynasty Warriors, it's just the simple version, which I think is great. But with Star Wars 2, they like kept the complexity of this dialogue tree. Dialogue, wow, not dialogue tree. But in the dialogue stuff in this game and the weapons in this game and stuff like that, it's very geared towards. Oh gosh, I keep doing this. So he's really hurt. I can finish him in one shot if I just get him. There we go. Got him. So yeah, this is another reason why I love the creative class in this mode. It's like the best thing ever. But with Samurai Warriors 2, they would change. So some of the characters still had this move set where they would have the square triangle, square square triangle, square 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 triangle, all that. And like, okay, well here I go. Actually, I'm actually doing this thing. See, look at this. There's all these different things, which is really cool because you go, all right, I can do whatever, and then you take the sword or the spear because that's my weapon that I want. You can choose all these clans, and that's really sweet. But you can't really go far on that. But it's just with Samurai Warriors 2, they just made it where your creativity, like the way they changed all the move sets, because like Mitsuhide in this game has like a pretty solid move set. It flows well, all the moves flow well together, and that's really cool and everything. But then what ends up happening is, and I think Mitsuhide is one of these characters. His moves change, where he's no longer the skill tree like this, and then they do And I did think that it was creative in that game. They had the thing where I think it was, maybe it was Magoichi, but they had like the special, I think it was Kanetsugu Naue, but they have like that thing where you can, it's like special. There was like normal, there was charge, and then there was special. And I liked special and I liked charge, but I didn't really like normal because normal was just like same like Dynasty Warriors. And I was like, I'm playing Dynasty Warriors also. I don't need to play both in one game. Like that's, I'm a fan. Maybe they did that so that they could get more people who like Dynasty Warriors that didn't like Samurai Warriors. They're trying to get those people or something. But I was like, you already got me. You already. I don't need a character that plays exactly like a Dynasty Warriors character. That's, I would just play Dynasty Warriors, all the millions of Dynasty Warriors games I have. Which, again, I think I'll review those at some point because they're amazing, all of them, except for nine. Nine's terrible, but I'll review how terrible that is too. Check out my channel on that. I talked about it. Yeah. So it's just a lot of fascinating stuff up in here. So I don't know why they changed certain characters, but they did, and I don't really understand why they do what they do. But I don't doubt Koei's amazingness because they make such good games on the side, and I'm not like actually frustrated permanently with that. Again, the series is like the best, and I very much enjoy the way these games go. And there are people who like think that Dynasty Warriors games are repetitive and terrible, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. They're not. They're repetitive, but they are most definitely not terrible. They're a very relaxing game. You can just mow through peons. It's so much fun. So I don't know what people think about that though. So please let me know in the comments. I'm all about it. I'm all about listening to people. Um, I very much enjoy the way that they do this game. I enjoy the way they did the first Samurai Warriors, and I still think that the later games in the series were amazing, but it's just can't can't change how awesome the first one is. Like there's just so much going on here. There's so much detail that they pay attention to. Like for example, when you unlock new weapons, they give a little description of each weapon. Like they actually talk about like one of the weapons that Kenshin has is like it says this weapon it seems to embody a spirit of a woman he saw in his dreams or something like that. And you're like, well, that's weird, but like cool, you know, like they put that effort into the game. They didn't have to. Oh my gosh, that was horrifying. I got stunned in the middle of a sea of strike ninjas. Not what you want. Now I'm really hurt, so we'll hopefully survive. I have like no, so this is gonna be the make or break. There you go. 355, not bad, especially since they knocked me into about 100 of those. I didn't even get 100 kills. But here we go. So that's how you do this character mode. And I mean, the fact that you can play a character, create them, put them into the thing, and you're now a character that's in history or whatever. You're not really. It's just kind of cool. And now I have this dude, and he's a little stronger than my first person. So yeah, I love these games. I love Koei. Everything they do is they're trying new things. They're being innovative, and sometimes I don't like their ideas, but that's not to say that they're not doing well. I hope the best for them all the time because their games are amazing, and I just hope y'all enjoy. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and thank you so much.